Right, so for the offering this morning, when it comes to finances, and when we're talking about finances, it's often a touchy subject in people's lives, and it's because we are so aware of the fact that we cannot operate, we can't do what we need to do without money. And a lot of the times we tend to turn our attention to that. We turn our attention to the lack, and we've got a list of things that we know we should do and that we desire to do, and we look at what's in the bank account and we compare the two to one another, and what we see in the bank account doesn't fund everything that we think needs to happen, and that brings a disharmony in your spirit, and then what happens is we get a great fright out of it, and because we get a fright, we start to hang on to things. We're scared into not looking the way that your God looks. So this morning we are in Romans 8:31. And in Romans 8:31, the question is asked, what then shall we say to all this? If God is for us, then who can be against us? Who can be our foe if God is on our side? And I mean, think about everything that's trying to rob you of your peace and your joy is a foe. Because the moment that I rob you of your joy and your peace, I'm robbing you of the strength of God. The joy of the Lord is our strength. So all of a sudden, the moment that your peace and your joy leaves, then you're weak. And the enemy knows this. And so the enemy will come and take he will use different weapons to enable, to reach that point. If he can steal your joy, steal your peace, then all of a sudden there's weakness. And we will start not reflecting God's image in all of that. Because there's no way that I can open up my hand and let what's in it go if I believe that's the last I've got. There's just no way. I have to believe that I've got a source, and I have to believe that source will not dry. The moment that I understand that I've got a Father in heaven and that I'm His Son, and this is what Jesus came to show us. It's amazing. The disciples come and they ask Him, teach us how to pray, and the first word of that prayer is our. It's not my Father. Jesus never said it's my Father. He starts, and the very first word in that prayer includes us. The very first word is, it's our. You and me, we're in this together, says Jesus. And the second word is Father. He's my Father, says Jesus, but He's also yours. He's also your Father. And then the moment that we understand that, then that fear can go. Because if God is for us, then who can be against us? Your daddy knows. Your daddy knows what you're facing, and he doesn't like you being bullied. So he's going to come to your defense. And he gives us this reminder. He did not withhold or spare even his own son. Now, would you give up yours? But he did. And that shows great value. It shows great value when he looks at us, he sees something precious. He sees someone precious. He sees something worth protecting with his own life. And he gives. And he gives his best. He gives his son. He gives a piece of himself. He's a generous God. He gives. And then, if he gave, and this is the question, he did not withhold his best, will he not give you the rest? He did not withhold his best. Will he not with him also give you freely and graciously all other things? Plenty of situations around us would want to intimidate us into believing something different. We've got a political party that's jumping up and down and wants some theatrics to work its way into our political system. We've got the economy that is that is misbehaving, to say the least. And we could look to all those things and we could let it impact our hearts and steal our joy, steal our peace, and make us weak. Or we can remember that we've got a Father and that He's on our side. We can remember that He's in this with us. And that He has always been the one who's looked after people over generation after generation after generation. And He's faithful. He will look after me and He will look after you. And if He did not withhold His Son, will He not with Him freely and graciously give us all other spiritual gifts? Will He not with Him give us all other, what's written there is all other things? He knows what you need. He knows what we need. So it's not a spiritual thing. It's not something that He won't give us happy thoughts. Happy thoughts is included in this. He won't give us a warm feeling in our heart, although it's included in this. But He's talking about physical things there. He's talking about what you need in day-to-day living to be victorious. And He will include this. And if we remember that He's on our side, then we can reflect Him well. We can open up our hands and we can give generously. There's a story about Alexander the Great. And he came to somebody that was poor. And this poor man asked him whether he would, give him something. And the response from Alexander, the tale goes, and we haven't got a very, very accurate account because it was retold orally from generation to generation. But the story goes that he asked this person, "How much do you want?" And the person replied, "Just as much as would be convenient for you. As much as you would think that I need." And what Alexander did is he gave him much more than what he needed in that moment. And his advisors and officers with him was naturally surprised about his generosity and asked him why he did this. He said, "Well, I mean, you gave way more than what this person needed. It's way more than what his need is." He said, "But if I gave less, it wouldn't satisfy my need to give." Because Alexander understood that we are not only stewarding what our earthly possessions are, but we're also stewarding His image. We're also stewarding royalty. And you can steward royalty if you understand that you are royal, our Father that are in heaven, that God is for us and not against us. And so may this bless you. And I pray in this morning that everything that is yours will return to you. And I pray that God will bless you abundantly, even in your finances, and bless you as you give.